Come on, everybody, let's start the show. A quick ahoy hoy and away we'll go. Richard's got a minifig and Flynn's got a pin. The gang's all here and it's time to begin. Tricky Bricks roll call. Moto, Holly, Kara, and sometimes Blair, Clicky, Logan, Ms. Thing and Angela, and Thunderman Ho! Now you're here to grab your bricks and let's go to the Tricky Bricks Build and Chat Show!
Ahoy, hoy, everyone.
Ahoy, hoy, everyone. Happy Friday. You can tell it's Friday because I got my Friday shirt on. So, wow.
That never gets old.
It never does. So we are actually, we've got a crazy flip-flop schedule happening this week.
You might think it's Sunday, but it's actually Friday.
I know. So we are doing our Lego Masters finale recap, which I'm assuming you know because you saw the title card. We are doing that. And then this Sunday, we will be doing our build slideshow with Yano and the rest of our crew for the Talk Like a Pirate Day on the 19th, which is also, by the way, my mom's birthday. I'm going to try to get her to pop in real quick on Sunday to say hello. We'll see. She's going to be on a little beach
birthday
trip.
Love.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. She takes some convincing. I'll just say that. So, golly, well, we do have special guests today. So I'm very excited about that. We have two guests, two season 2 Lego Masters contestants. First up is, you know him, you love him. It's Moto. Hi, Moto.
Hi, Moto.
Hello. I am dressed for the. Well, I have my Jamie and Amy shirt on, but other than that, I'm dressed up for this finale review. I've got my Kelsey. I've got my pin already. I've got my clicky going. I've got everything rocking. I'm just ready to go.
Have it all. Oh, that reminds me. Go ahead.
Well, Jamie and Amy were dressed up for this episode too.
Yes, they were. Everybody was.
Yeah, Will was looking sharp.
I, in fact, did not get dressed up. Well, I wore my special Friday shirt. That's all you get.
You dressed for success. Okay. I trust you.
So, and now joining us from all the way from Cancun on a glamorous outing, it's Randall. Hi, Randall.
Hey, y'all. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah. We can. So good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us from your glamorous location.
It looks sunny there.
It's sunny. It's hot. I don't have my minifigs or my pen, but I'm excited to talk
you
about
yourself.
Yeah, you brought you, which is all we need. So,
am I seeing Marge Simpson right there?
Marge,
you're wearing Simpson shirt. Very cute. Abby the Brick Squirrel says it's now Rancoon. Now
wow.
Storm.
Took it by storm. And I will have you know, I tried to have, and I love this story. I tried to have Dawn join us today. And she was just on her way back from everything, and I said, would you be able to join us for the thing? And her response was, I'd love to, but I'll be on the golf course at that time. I was like, very fancy. We got one in Cancun. We've got one on the golf course. It's very glamorous while the rest of us sit here in our mom's basements.
And I don't know, some Lego Masters are counting their $1 million. Okay, $100,000.
Yes, I don't know. Maybe they're rolling around in it. Who knows? Who can say? But we're not gonna give that away just yet. So there is. Well, actually, before we get to start to talking about Lego Masters, we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that happened this week. We've got we still got all of our regular features. We've got pins and all that good stuff. So what have you got going today, Moto?
Pins?
Yes.
Come on. The original clicky that was on the air is my pin.
On air clicky.
Double pinned in the original. Yep. So
very nice.
Got to have the final.
Stays upright in the pocket.
Yeah, Clicky's going to see us off and through the final review. He's here for us.
Very good. All right, and then we've got what have we got today?
What do we have? We have, in honor of the upcoming Sunday Pirate Talk Like a Pirate Day, We Are Family Challenge. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean, given to me by Minifig Check and Paint Pusher, and it actually, how do you get it open? There we go.
The other way. There you go.
My favorite scene from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mine too. It is my absolute favorite scene from Pirates of the Caribbean. It's so good.
I recreated that in my living room in this Victorian house I used to live in.
And I'm kind of
Halloween.
I'm kind of going on the other end of the scale here. I haven't had this in a long time, but my pretty princess Cinderella in a gold frame, like super fancy one. And I love that it's got Gus Gus on it, which is my favorite of all of her mice friends. And you can see the clock tower and the shoe. Or is it? They say slipper, but I'm sorry, it's just a shoe. It's a glamorous glass high-heeled shoe that I would not want to try to walk in.
You know, I actually read that it was mistranslated, and originally it was a fur slipper.
Oh, well, we could go on a deep dive talking about
it would have been an easier fit, though, right?
The original Cinderella and its issue with not being able to fit into shoes and how they managed that. But that's a whole nother show. That is a terrifying show.
Cute pin.
Absolutely. Oh, Minifig Chick says that her work meeting only lasted 10 minutes. Perfect. Well, now here we are. All right. So let's we have pins. What's next?
Well, there's a bunch of people in the chat hanging out there.
There are a bunch of people in the chat. I don't have that window open, of course, because I am so that way. But let's see who we may have out in the chat. I see Moto. Moto's in the chat.
I am.
Everywhere all at once. It's a Motoception.
Funny how that works.
Motoception. All right, let me real quick get over to this. What would a show be without me having to do behind the scenes technical stuff on scene? Because that's the way things are.
Okay, well, let me while Flynn finds that, and it's almost there right now, I have to ask both of you, without revealing anything, did you predict the end? Did you got Moto, it, Moto? Yes. You predicted it?
Randall says no, didn't
an
predict.
Upset.
I really thought. I have to say, I went into it.
I got the number one spot predicted. 2 and 3 were, as far as I could tell, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough call.
So let's see. We've got Abby the Brick Squirrel is here. Brick Jedi, Brickaroo Bonsai, Darren Siegfried, Hooded One is here. Jaden and Daddy are Trouble Variants Chalice. John Luttrell and Vicky. Oh, that reminds me.
Yes.
Coffee.
Oh, that's right. It's sitting right in there.
Marilyn Parmley is here, and the Parmleys, hello. Minifig Chick, Monica Berry, and Moto. Rob Zaccardi and the Zaccardis, ahoy hoy Zaccardis. We've got Zach Martinez. And that's all the list I have right now. I know there's some other people in there that I have seen chatting. So hello, everybody. Hello, Darren Siegfried.
Wilfred, bonsoir.
Yeah, wherever you are. And, of course, Zarakino.
Kim.
So
I'm actually going to get up and get us coffee.
All right. I know it. At this point, it's been, we keep with the world kind of opening back up again, and people are going back to work, and kids are going back to school, and there's like less time for people to come and hang out on like during the day, which I totally get. But I'm so excited that you all are here to join us today. This will be fun. Cowboy Cornado is here. Ahoy, hoy. Brick Jedi asks, how is the weather in Cancun, Randall?
Man, it is. I never experienced like walking out of an airport and just having heat just smack you in the face. Like that's what it happened. That's what happened. So you step outside for like 5 seconds and you're soaked. So that's how it feels. So I'm very happy to be inside in this hotel room on this call talking to y'all right now.
Whenever I think of that, I always just think of on Absolutely Fabulous. They go like traveling somewhere that's really hot, and they walk out of the airport, and it's like, oh my god, like falling on the ground. I've been there. I've definitely been in that place. Yeah. Well, gosh, when we went to Portland, it was like that. Oh my goodness!
Like a wall of heat.
It was so hot. Oh, Moto. Moto's like, it wasn't hot. I was like, yeah, it was like over 100 degrees. Then we were walking around in it.
It wasn't Cancun hot. It was
no. I'm sure. Okay. Well, next up we have got our Friday feature. Everybody.
Oh,
that's right. It is.
I'm getting
time
chills right now.
I know. Ooh, I'm already scared. It's time for Thing from the Crypt. I don't think you've never been here for a Thing from the Crypt, Randall. So this is your first time.
It's not as scary as it seems.
Not as scary as it
Although today's kind of scary.
Now, some of these I know you may have seen before on past shows, but when I was looking for stuff for today's feature, it was like a theme just kind of presented itself to me, so I decided to go for it. And feel free, panelists, to comment in on these fine pieces from our collection.
Please go full screen for this. I want to see what's coming.
We will for sure.
There we go.
So you're on this, but I'm going to guess 1976.
Yeah, so today's theme is celebrities recording albums and singing. We've touched on this before. So first up,
it's a rough crossover.
Yeah, and I know we've shown this. I think this one before, but first up we have the two sides of Leonard Nimoy. That's right. Mr. Spock
in his turtleneck
made an album, right? And I love that sweater. So this is amazing. And it's the two sides. Now, not only did he make one album, he made two albums because he wanted you to know the way that he feels, the way I feel, Leonard Nimoy. And I love this art.
This album actually includes the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins.
Oh,
yeah, I was going to ask.
A truly terrible, terrible song.
If you haven't seen that, you should look up the Ballad of Bilbo Baggins on YouTube.
Should we?
Leonard
Oh,
Nimoy.
look at that! You hardly see Futura font anymore, but that's beautiful.
I know it's very thin
Yeah.
and lovely.
Yeah, Futura.
So then we have, now this is for all you old schoolers out there. Now, sometimes when I show this stuff, I'm like, kids don't care about stuff this anymore. Young people don't care about this stuff anymore. And then I remember, you know what? How are they going to know if we don't educate them on what went before, right? So,
well, this is a pretty important one.
This is a pretty important one. Miss Betty Davis sings. Now, Betty Davis was a hugely famous actress in the 40s through the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I'll just say that she's not a great singer.
No, and in her later career, she kind of specialized in more extreme character roles.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane and all that sort of thing. But anyway,
well,
so
here
yes,
we could show this picture.
Miss Betty Davis. Oh yeah, and there she is in her terrifying Baby Jane outfit. So there's the Miss Betty Davis sings. Next up, this one is
music that makes you want to clear your throat.
Oh boy.
It's music that makes me want to put in earplugs. So now this next one is special to me. So y'all know we love horror stuff, and I am a huge Bride of Frankenstein fan, and Richard and I did a stage production of The Bride of Frankenstein. The actress who played the Bride of Frankenstein was named Elsa Lanchester. She did a bunch of different stuff. She did like appearances on I Love Lucy. She was on an episode of, and a bunch of other movies. But apparently she also recorded an album called Elsa Lanchester's Songs for a Shuttered Parlor.
Wow. This verges on risque.
Well, I think that
I had never realized a shuttered parlor was a mood.
It is now, for sure. Look at that. Come on. How do you not? And then and this has like her many characters, because she did a lot of characters on the back. So there was that. And then finally, we have this album, which came out in the 90s, actually 88, called Golden Throats. And it is like a bunch of different celebrities. So they basically went to all of these people's albums and pulled single tracks off of them and put them on.
Ooh,
and
I can see
William
William
Shatner
Shatner
Nimoy
there.
again.
Yeah, we've got Leonard Nimoy is on here. We've got Sebastian Cabot, who was Mr. French on Family Affair, for the 5 of you who remember that. Eddie Albert, William Shatner, my goodness, Jack Webb, who was a famous 50s guy. Mae
Andy
West
Griffith,
is on here
yeah.
doing Twist
Mae
and
West.
Shout, which is terrifying. Jim Neighbors,
Gomer
Gomer
Pyle.
Pyle, USMC, who, if you've ever heard him sing,
It's
has a
operatic.
very distinctive voice. But yeah, there's some really amazing works on here.
And there isn't that a spin on another famous Beatles cover?
Well,
Oh
it
yeah,
looks
this is
like
this
Sergeant
is
Pepper.
Sergeant
Pepper.
Pepper's. Definitely
Yeah.
a takeoff on the Sergeant Pepper's cover. But yeah, and there's Sebastian Cabot
with a baked
with a
turkey.
chicken or a turkey. And I gotta say, there is a whole series of these albums with different stuff. But you have not lived until you've heard Sebastian Cabot talk, sing, Rolling Stone. It's like a Rolling Stone is pretty amazing and terrifying. All right, so there you go. That was today's thing
Darren-
from the Crypt.
Darren
What's that?
Siegfried wins with calling out Mrs. Beasley.
Yes, for those of you who remember
It's a
Family
doll.
Affair, Mrs. Beasley was a thing, and oh my goodness, and Kitty Carryall as well.
Oh my goodness, that was from Brady Bunch.
It was, and you know that they actually, I believe, used I think they used a Kitty Carryall in WandaVision in the 70s episode, but I can't remember. Like, I thought there was something
It's a
about
little
that.
Easter egg.
There you go. So there you go. There's your lesson on old people stuff that you didn't know you needed to have today. And so Brian is in the chat. Ahoy, hoy, Brian. How's it going? Fresh off
up,
the
Brian?
circuit. Fresh off the circuit. So anyway,
Minifig Chick brings out the like a Rolling Stone.
She's posting some links to some of the things in here, so absolutely check those out after the show. One more thing before we dive into this is we have some Lego news.
Oh, there is.
Which we unfortunately don't have an awesome animation for, but
Imagine
Lego
it.
news. What happened to the brick? Oh, that was the mail. Yeah. Anyway, Lego news. So 3 big.
Yes,
thank you, Moto.
It's flying in. The news right now is flying in. The ticker tape is coming out of the machine.
3 big set releases this week, all of which we received for review, and
was
3
a
in a
busy
week was a
week.
lot, and I haven't gotten to the 3rd one yet. But let's talk a little bit about each one, and I'd love to get our impressions from our illustrious panel about the upcoming sets. So the first one, and we'll get this one out of the way first because we've already dedicated an Instagram live, a Twitch stream, and a special Wednesday night Tricky Bricks show all about the Queer Eye Loft set, which I built, which is fantastic. And if you want to know lots and lots of details about it, you can 100% check out any of those 3 things I just mentioned. But I think the best one really was our Wednesday night show. We had a really great panel, went into a lot of detail about it.
Flynn.
No, that's coming out on October 1st, 974 pieces, and will retail for $99.99. So I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are on the Queer Eye Loft Moto, and then we'll go to Randall.
There's nothing more I can say than the excitement you've packed into this week because it was a lot of media focus and attention. But no, it seems like it's a amazing. Well, this just apart from the set, the cultural milestone and significance of the set, I think has been the focus and a lot of coverage, a lot of positive coverage on it. So I'm not here to fill in any more than what you guys have already put out there, along with everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I just, personally, because I do want to say also that, like, not only is it, yes, it's a cultural milestone and it's a big step for Lego and just like for the LGBTQI community in general, like to see something like that represented. But it's also just a really good build. And it's got some really great pieces, and the design, especially of the kitchen and the whole modern look of the set, is something that we haven't seen in Lego before. So I'm like 100% here from that. Randall, what were your impressions when you first saw that this was being announced?
I just think it's so interesting to see somebody that I used to watch on The Real World be turned into a Lego figure. Karamo.
Who was on The Real World?
Karamo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like that's how I knew him first, because I used to watch Real World heavy like 20 years ago, and then he showed up on this show, and so just that, like, that's my tie to this. So like that's really cool to see. And I was looking at some of the pictures. Yeah, I was looking at some of the pictures earlier, and there's like this, like you said, it's a really good build. There's a lot of good pieces in there. I almost thought that they were using like a technique for the carpet, like slotted in cheese slopes, but that's actually like printed tiles. But but yeah, I like it.
Wow, I was just thinking that if Lego Masters was like The Real World, it would have been even that much harder an experience. That would have been so hard.
But
Big Bricker,
so just to kind
Big
of show
Bricker,
you
they're going to
close
stuff us
up.
all in a house and have us fight it out with Lego.
Oh my
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Absolutely no. So this is what this is the carpet you were talking about. It's a great those
That's
are
right.
all 2x4 printed tiles.
And it just sits in there, right? It sits in a slot in the set.
Yeah, just like all of the recent apartment sets that they've done, there's this little like removable area that you can pull out. So yes, the carpet is in fact printed tiles. I don't think we got to that on our Wednesday show, but that is a thing. Okay, so the second one, and I did a little Instagram live about this one the other day, and I'm probably going to do like, I may do another like YouTube short, which I understand is a thing the kids are doing these days. Maybe Moto, you can help me out with that.
Just do what you do on TikTok.
Oh, which is
Yes.
nothing. So nothing.
Oh my god.
So the next one up is Santa's Sleigh, which is it's bending down there. Let me get a. So this comes with the 4 reindeer, a new sleigh build with lots of presents in the back, and I want to say I think that Mel Caddick had something to do with this, because there's a drawer that comes out of the back of it where you store a carrot and a pretzel, I guess, for feeding
or
the
your
reindeer
secret treasures.
and Santa, or your secret treasures, exactly. And you know what I found out? So one of the fun things about this one is there is. Oh no, I don't know if I can get.
Tough to get out.
I can't get that
Here,
out
try
without
this.
turning it over. Okay, so there is a printed tile. Thank you.
Yeah, it's sturdy build. It's shakeable.
There is a printed tile of Santa's nice list on here. And I did this little mashup on Instagram of the Queer Eye set and the Santa's Sleigh. And Diego Sancho, who is the graphic designer behind the Queer Eye set and sort of championed it through being made, it turns out was also the graphic designer on this set. And he pointed out an Easter egg. So in the Queer Eye set, there's an idea board. And on the idea board is a blueprint of an apartment. And that is actually Diego's mom's apartment on the sticker, which I think is so great. And then apparently his mom's name is on the Santa list as well.
Good list.
So
Wow.
there's somebody asked if there was a naughty list. I'm like, no, Santa only has good list. There are some stickers in this.
Well,
I
can
think
you
it's
imagine if your name was on the naughty list and you bought that set? How
I
you'd
know.
feel?
I'm
I
sure
mean, there's a
that's
good
probably
reason
why
they left
didn't
that
do
out.
Like, hey. But yeah, it's a really fun set, and you get 4 reindeer. So that's coming out again October 1st. 343 pieces, $36.99.
And they're using this, right? It's not a new for the
Yep,
cube.
yep, it's the gold swirly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I like the way they put them into
Cool.
the loops rather than clips. I think it's
Yep.
a cleaner look.
It is.
Now, I know that some people have expressed a little concern about the price of the set, but really for 343 pieces at $36.99, it's pretty much in line with per piece count for a lot of Lego sets. Plus, you get 4 reindeer, which go for about $6 to $7 on Bricklink and Bricks and Pieces. So you're getting $24 or $25 worth of reindeer in your $37 set. So I think not too bad. Is this something, do y'all have like holiday setups? Is this something that you would consider getting? Moto?
Oh, me? No, I don't have room for holiday setups. I know that you guys do the full train and blowout display, and you and Minifig Chick are really into it. I do like. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about the reindeer acquisition. It's kind of my play, as well as the gold and the ton of red slopes you get, as well as the figure.
There's a lot of good pieces, and I love the. A lot of people have been calling it the reindeer battle pack.
Well, yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
What do you think, Randall, about Santa's sleigh?
Didn't Holly buy like a whole bunch of reindeer a while ago?
She did. And I got some from her when I was in Portland. Between her and our friend Brett, I came home with 9 reindeer. And then 2 days later, this set arrived. So I have 4 spare reindeer if people need reindeer.
Wow. Yes. So what do I think of the set? It reminds me of, I think it was called Santa's Helper Village that came out like a few years ago that had brick-built reindeer in it.
Yeah.
Santa's Workshop. There you go. And that was, just part of the sleigh and the reindeer were just part of that overall set. I do like that I like the trend of seeing more of these new animal molds. So
Absolutely.
Right, because we talked about that a few episodes ago, like on a Sunday. And so I am looking forward to, I'm gonna buy the set because like y'all do, it sounds like I'm just accumulating a lot of winter stuff to eventually, like whenever I have space, to be able to put everything out, because that's something that I do want to do. So yeah, I think, like you said, the price, I was like, but you made some points, so I'm probably gonna buy it anyway.
Yeah, it's a good one. So now we're gonna move to the set that just got announced today, although it got leaked all over before everybody has seen it already.
Spoilers.
However, the mini Disney castle, it is delightful.
Okay.
It is absolutely delightful, and I am so excited to put this together. I may even do, if I have some time later today, I may do a little Instagram Live about this set. And it's celebrating the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, which was my home park when I was a kid. My dad, when I would go and visit my dad in Florida during the summer, he would... we would always go for a trip to Disney World. So I really credit my dad with my love of Disney. Because
are the top cones drum lacquered gold or pearl?
They
gold?
look very shiny.
They look very shiny. I haven't opened it up yet, so I'm not sure. But I do know that this piece right here, the clock, is in fact printed.
Yeah, it's printed. An exotype print.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at the use of the 90-degree angle gears.
Yep.
The
Below the
castle
tower
turrets.
tops.
Yeah, and you get the mini separator, aka the shoot. I lost
like
it from
the
my head on the
one?
front.
The crowbar?
Yeah, crowbar.
Yep, gold crowbars. Yep. So very, very, very cool set. I'm excited to put this one together, and I have the big one. And I think what's cool about this is it's a great, like, if you're a Disney fan, but you don't have the money or the room for the big Disney castle, and it does take up a lot of room, it's a great affordable. So this one is $34.99 for 567 pieces. So on the scale of like price per piece, this is actually a pretty good value.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
What's up, Moto?
I might be that
Smart.
guy. I might be that guy that goes in and just tears apart Target.
Oh
Because
yeah,
this is-
I mean, it's
For me, that
Moto,
is
boo.
those are the
Wow.
spaceship. Those are all the spaceship elements I've ever wanted, all in one box.
That's cool.
So I'll be doing like I said, I'll be doing a more in-depth about it later, but apparently that will be coming, October 1st, 567 pieces, $34.99.
Ooh, I
Oh,
thought those
Minifig Chick
turrets
is
were
saying that the
special.
blue turrets are trans opal, which is fabulous. I
So
love that.
oh my gosh.
So
You guys are finally going to break me into buying a set for parts. This might be it. This might be it.
well, I think, and somebody was saying earlier, I think it was Albert Lee was saying that this is a great way to introduce AFOLs to micro castles for anybody who's ever wanted to try building a micro castle.
Mhm.
Definitely true.
You know what this needs? It needs a motorization on it of Tinkerbell flying around.
A little
the
micro
castle.
Tinkerbell flying
Yeah.
around the top. Absolutely.
You know, on the aftermarket, metallic elements are so expensive, so incredibly hard to find in large quantities that this set is like, it's going to be cheaper than any other method to acquire all those little finishing metallic details.
Well, you
Now,
only
that is-
need 40 or 50 of them, right?
And that is something to think about too. Like we're talking about like price per piece. This one, of course, while it has 567 pieces, a fair amount of the pieces are very small. Like
But that's great. That's all the finishing stuff that's so
Yeah.
hard to find.
Exactly.
And especially all the dishes in there and the crowbars. I mean, man.
What do you think, Randall? Are you a big enough Disney fan that this might be a purchase for you?
I am going to. I'm thinking about getting it for the pearl gold pieces, similar to what Moto said. They're not metallic, the pearl. Different.
Oh, got it.
Yes. I think this reminds me of the conversation that we were having maybe a few episodes, maybe the same one, and the same point that you just made, Flynn, about Lego seem to be testing like sets at certain scales, like at different scale. So yeah. So I don't know that this necessarily like falls into that, explicitly, but it just reminds me of that conversation. So I'm probably still gonna get the big one. I haven't gotten that yet. But this makes it easier, I think. Like
Right?
No kidding. And is this one like a full retail or is it just Lego store only?
That I don't know. I didn't see anything that said it was going to be an exclusive. But I know that I just know date and piece count and price. That's what I
keep an eye out, right?
At the moment.
Same for the Santa thing.
Yep.
You know, Randall, Flynn got the Disney castle for his birthday. That is the set when I learned that some designers at Lego think about building the set as a narrative process.
Yep.
Like that you're telling yourself a story or the set is telling you a story as you're building it. And they've carried that through in the Harry Potter sets and some other ones too, right?
Yeah, I think the Harry Potter Hogwarts castle, the big little castle, was probably the biggest example of that, because the way that you built it was actually how you are introduced to Hogwarts in the movies. Like you're on the boat and then you go to the dock and then you go to the entrance and then you build this part. It was really, really, really brilliantly done. So,
and I think that also helps explain how they sometimes hide details that no one will ever see again, is just because that was part of the story when you were building it.
And I would definitely say if this, if Disney's not your thing, or maybe this isn't as exciting to you, I think like Moto was saying, as a parts pack, this is going to be really, really dumb. You got gold binoculars, gold ingots, gold crowbars, all those trans opal dishes and cones.
And you get a Mickey minifigure in there too, which is hard to get.
Oh yeah, Mickey minifigure in his tuxedo, which we don't see very often, or haven't seen yet, I don't think. So that's pretty cool. So there you go. That is the Lego news for the week. It was a big week. Big week.
And I believe AFOL Day is October 31st, correct?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
So yeah,
Now, a lot of times
leading right behind that by a couple of weeks is going to be a Halloween blowout with all these new sets in the store too.
Oh yeah. Now I don't know.
October is big.
So Joel's asking how much is the mini Disney castle? It is $34.99. So a slightly lower price point than Santa. And more pieces, significantly more pieces than Santa, almost 100 and some change more pieces than Santa. So, which actually I gotta say I was kind of surprised because usually the IP stuff like that, especially Disney stuff, the price is pretty up there. But this seems, I think, just from now, again, I haven't built it yet, but judging from the photo and what I know about building castles like that, it seems like it's going to be a pretty great build and pieces for that price point that we're getting it for. So, all right.
So news. Hard to keep up. There's so many sets coming out.
I know, and there's more. It's not over yet, folks. Like, I know for a fact that we're getting something else in like mid-October that's like a whole nother thing.
And I knew when I saw the September calendar, it was fairly dry. I said, yep, they're about to drop the gauntlet later this week. So here it comes.
Absolutely. Now the thing about AFOL Day to mention is that a lot of times the brand newest stuff is not on the list. You just have to check with your store manager. They will let you know what is available and what's not. They get a list. But I know too that the rules have been changing for a little bit. Like I know it used to be only sets that are under $100, but that's kind of expanded a little bit in some places, especially for stuff that's been out for a while. So definitely check if you're going shopping on AFOL Day, check in with your store manager to find out like what's what.
Well, and didn't I hear once, ultimately it's up to the manager of the store, right?
I mean, I think there are rules that go across everything, but yeah, I think that a lot of times there's a little bit of.
Well, what I heard is if you go up to the store and there's a question and they say at the store, this one isn't, then you just take it at that. This one is not.
Right, exactly. Don't hassle the employees, please. Hey, Miss Lobricta is here. Ahoy, ahoy to you all. Getting ready to tee off. I love it.
Don.
Are we, Don? We are about to tee off into.
Yes, I was just there.
We are about to tee off into the Lego Masters finale episode breakdown. So, all right, let's see. We've got.
Is it a breakdown or a breakdown? I don't know.
It's both.
Breakdown.
It's a breakdown.
I think all puns are go.
Okay, so we have now gone into the finale of Lego Masters Season 2 with the final three teams of brothers, which is a really interesting take on the finale, like to have that kind of, and I wonder too, like there is a bit of, and we talked about this before, and I'm not saying this is why they are there, but I'm saying that these three groups had for sure the advantage of having worked together on not just Lego, but life together.
Yeah. So they were able to communicate very clearly. Two of them were twins.
Yeah. And there was, so I think that there's like a level of communication and teamwork that, with them that gave them, the advantage in that just sort of like long time work together.
Also they tended to be younger. So, if you have youth on your side, you have physical endurance as well for this grueling schedule. Which
when you come to a 24-hour build, that matters. And yes, they got breaks, but I bet they were long build sessions.
Well, and we talked about this a little before, too, and I'm sure you can both speak to this as well. But I think something that people don't quite get about it is that it is not like you film an episode and then you have a few days off to
it's not the next week
restructure and like do something else. No, it's like the next day you are there doing another project and working on it. And it's
except for this one, they were coming off a weekend, so they did have their 1 day pause before coming into the finale and slogging it out. So
sure, but it is still it's an exhausting process.
It is, but it's nice that they had that little bit of bit of recovery going into the finale. Yeah. Because it does. When you give that one day off, it actually feels like you've been given a gift from heaven.
Well,
Yeah,
and then you do laundry and you have your nails done and you go to the Lego store.
Well,
No, you don't go to the Lego store.
Oh,
You
no,
stay in your
that's
hotel room.
None of that.
No,
Right?
you guys. I have to say, like, I was jealous when I heard about your backstage accommodations, but then like I felt really bad because we were able to go to Universal Studios, go to Disneyland, go shopping, go have a coffee down the street. And I know that's something that y'all weren't really able to do. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, it was really weird to know that Target was right there. I mean, it was like, it's right there. The Target run is right there and you still can't leave.
Well, it was one thing that I think was of assistance. I know we did it. I know Jessica did it. I think, well, a lot of us went to the Lego store. We were actually building in the hotel room. Kara and Jesse, I think Kara had bricks shipped in from home.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, there's a lot of Amazon drop shipments and things.
Yeah. Builders find a way.
Mm-hmm.
So, Randall, how was that for you? That sort of having, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say trapped, but you all really were kind of just like there. There was no going out and experiencing the outside. Was it stressful or?
No, it's like you said. There's really not an outlet to release anything that you may be feeling in terms of, frustration or isolation and things like that. So it was you really had to be strong in will, I think, to be there, which I would say that we all were, to have to build under those circumstances. It is not for the faint of heart. It is your skill, but it's also your will in this circumstance.
Yeah, it's a mental, emotional, and physical endurance. All three.
Oh, 100%. And I can't stress that enough, that all of those things come into play.
But what's amazing is in this finale, you saw that focus. You saw them bring all of that together and give it one final massive push. And man, we got some amazing stuff out of that.
Absolutely. That's I've been impressed. Yeah, I've been impressed by the builds throughout the season. There's been so many, and we've seen people like I know it was like for me, like in particular, Caleb and Jacob had a whole journey. I mean, everyone did, right? But just watching their stuff kind of evolve over the season, and seeing them come out into the finale was just so. I love it. I love them. They made it into my hearts as one of my very favorite teams on the show. Like they just really, really good. So now before we dive into the builds, it's time for the pause that refreshes. That's right, everybody. It is Logan Cookie time. There he is. Yes, he's the reason that you all tune in. And Splishy and Splashy are here. And the Simpsons are here from Cancun. All right, buddy. He's going to jump on the table if I don't get a cookie in my hand in the next second. All right, here we go, Logan. 1, 2, 3. Yay! Good boy, Logan. And one more. Uh-oh. Oh, Daddy threw it on the table. And you get a third one because that was a terrible throw on my part. All right, here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Yay! Logan. Good boy, Logan. And that has been Logan Cookie Time. Logan Cookie Time. All right.
Oh, pardon me. I have to make sure they're chilling out again.
Oh, yeah. Splishy and Splashy are going to chill. All right. So let's go. Let's dive into taking a look at some of these builds. And I wanted to thank Moto and also Yano River Blue, who provided a lot of these screenshots that we're using today, courtesy of Fox. So thank you to both of you for that. So before we dive into looking at the pictures, we should talk about what this final build was. They had 24 hours to build whatever they wanted. Like, it was completely up to them. With the caveat that they had to show their build had to be a day to night build. So it had to include lights, which was the big thing, right? Like, it included lights. And it had to be a different look than what it looked like during the day. So, like, how was their build going to change and be affected by the lights? And they wanted to see something really good. And of course, all of the things, the storytelling, the technical ability, and the aesthetics all had to be there as well.
Well, that's what amazed me is they took Lego Masters Australian Season 2 challenge and spun it into the finale on top. So that was an interesting stack where day and night, or was it night and day? I forget the name of the episode in Australia, was taken forward into the US finale.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely took some of our challenges from Australia as well. And there was a couple that I was hoping that we were going to get that we didn't. Like, I really, really, really wanted the apartment build where you got to build your own floor of an apartment building. I would have been all over that. That would have been so awesome. But let's see. Why is it not letting me? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I see. Sorry, everybody. Give me 1 second.
Moto, do you remember who won that season 2 challenge, that finale?
Give me a minute.
Well, while we're thinking about that, let's take a look. So these are the 3 final builds. We have Zach and Wayne's on the left. We have Mark and Stevens in the middle, and Caleb and Jacobs over there on the right-hand side. And this was their day look. And then we got the night look with everything lit up. And I was so super impressed by both sides of this. Like, I thought they all looked really great. But I think one of them in particular really embraced that transformation. And we've been talking about this all season. Like, there's a level of like, a build can there can be like multiple really, really good builds, but there's generally like one that stands head and shoulders above the rest because it just embraces the challenge as a solidified whole, just really, really embraces everything about it. So let's take a little bit closer look up at the builds. So this was Zach and Wayne's, and this was Pagoda of Our Lives. And they did a really beautiful multi-level building with their dragon theme has come back into play in this one. And then each floor represented a little scene from their lives of them doing different things and all of their interests and stuff like that. And they've always their family and personal stories have always been a big part of all of their builds. And I really appreciated that about this one. What do you think about this one, Moto?
Well, first of all, I really love that they went with circular floors rather than the traditional rectangular square. I think that's really bright. Use of red and gold and black really brought forward and spoke home to the idea of the pagoda. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but if you look at the banding from the front side, if you think about the I Ching, it always has a solid line and then 2 dashes and a solid and 2 dashes. And that's actually reflected in the front of this at the facade. So there's a lot of, I would say, Asian imagery brought forward that's really subtle, that doesn't really, resonate on first viewing. I had to go back and really stare at a lot of these builds, like the judges do. They get a full day to deliberate, and it's hard to get that when the episode is rushing by so quickly to make that snap judgment and then make a deliberate call on it. But to me, the yin and the yang of black and white dragons, all of this, and then to transition into the night look, or should I just stop at the day look?
No, we can talk about the let's look at some of the details. You can go ahead.
Yeah, and then so the idea of night into day or day into night is one where you get extra bonus points for having a day look, and then you reveal something in the night look and make it a true transition. So having all those floors sort of covered up and not as easy to see into, but in the night it transitions into the interior view and puts the focus on the storytelling narratives from the bottom to the top. I thought was really clever.
Absolutely.
And this was the largest one. I think this was around 6 feet tall. From what I heard.
Yeah, this was definitely the tallest one. It was funny when they lined them up at the end. They were kind of lined up from big, like tallest to shortest, which was.
Yeah, it was 6'5" roughly.
Yeah, Randall, what are your thoughts on Zach and Wayne's build?
Conceptually, this really excited me because it reminded me of Bruce Lee's original intention of the Game of Death movie, where he had like a pagoda. And it was really symbolic of, the rising of level and consciousness and skill and whatnot. And so that's why I was excited to see it. I really was looking forward to, I know you saw earlier in the episode, Zach was trying to make the dragons like appear like they were moving. So I'm sure that he was torn up a little bit, that it seemed like they couldn't make that go.
Yeah.
But I really like even this screen here, right? You see the creature there. You see what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, this Chinese stone dragon.
Yeah, the lions in the front. Yes.
There you go. Yes. Yeah. So that even those little things like that I didn't even see in the episode, but looking at it now, it's like, oh wow, this is really dope. The night view,
check that out.
It helped illuminate the space. Yeah, that looks really dope, right? Like it's really dope to see like the color choice in there too when it lights up, because when it's the day look, you can't really see that that total composition. So this is really nice to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love that, like that blue line down the center of all of that red and gold, right? And I love that they were able to so often bring their heritage into their builds. I think that's just I think that's really great and really important for the show for people to see as well. I thought this was really great. I mean, we were getting a little bit of look at some of the interiors and some of the scenes they did. This was their sushi bar interior because they are both excellent sushi chefs.
Well, I wanted to make a little bit of a comment on the sushi bar. So you may not know this, but Randall and I do, that every team brings a personal belt to highlight their team introduction, and theirs was a sushi bar. So this is an excellent callback to their original build that they brought to set.
Right. Well, I mean, this did include a lot of callbacks, right?
Too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was that, Randall?
I said another team had a callback as well.
Yes. So sushi bar, we've got the lions like we were talking about before. And then we've got the now those figures in the background are Zach and Wayne themselves as like ninjas, like down on the bottom floor, which I love. This is
his family.
This is Zach's family. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. I always get their names reversed, but I believe it is.
Zach's and his family, who was on screen. They showed that the families on screen, which I thought was so adorable. They all had like little messages for them, which was great. And this is
archery.
Wayne doing his archery. I love it. It's like, you're not doing it right. Look on his figure's face. It's so good.
Well, also they even have one eye closed and one eye he's got the right eye and everything. And
yes,
that was a great detail.
Yeah, that is very, very funny, and stuff that you probably didn't get to see as much on screen when it was kind of like flying by.
But yeah, he's scolding them definitely pretty hard.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's my it is one of my hopes, and I've been saying this since the beginning. It's one of my hopes that I'll be able to meet up with them and have Wayne teach me some archery, because it's something I've always wanted to do. because I'm not really a sports guy, but I always felt that was a sport that I could get behind. Like, I just thought that would be really fun and something cool to do. And also like Robin Hood. So I was really into that. So I have to wear a fox costume to the archery range. All right. So beautiful work from Zach and Wayne, who have showed off some really amazing technical skills all throughout the season. From their very first, I mean, they really, I think, blew everybody away with that very first build. Those dragons, everybody was just kind of like so outrageous. All right. This is Markin Stevens, the Warden of the Woods. Now, I got to say, for me, I was so incredibly attracted to this. This like speaks to so much about like my love of fantasy, my love of, Dungeons and Dragons and just high-end fantasy stuff. I thought it was so great. And if I may say, I think of the day to night thing, this one was the most successful in the lighting, because it wasn't just like I lit it up. It was eyes and the mushroom and, of course, and we'll get to this in a minute, the water, which was outrageous.
Yeah, so Mark and Steven have expertise in lighting fantasy builds. That is what they do, and that's what they're really good at, and they've won convention awards around the lighting category.
Well, there you go.
You're gonna see that mastery if you watch this episode come into bear. So that was an indicator to me that this was a very strong team coming in.
It's just a beautifully detailed build. I love the green inside the brown.
You got that wonderful emerald, like emerald gems or sap or something. It's just super cool.
And it could have very easily, just been a big brown guy, but no, they incorporated enough details and other colors that it really, just really, really rose to the challenge.
Yeah, and they pointed out something fascinating to me, which is you take an existing skill that you're fantastic at and you pivot around that. So for them, they approached this figure as if it was rock work for a castle.
Nice.
So if you look at it again with that in mind, you begin to see how all the shaping is very much, coming from the skill of doing advanced rock work techniques for a castle build in the bottom, but bringing it into a figure that's supposed to be made of wood, which I thought was really clever to take a skill you have and then pivot it perfectly into something different, which is a figure build.
Well, and I also love that it had this great message that the Warden of the Woods was there to find lost travelers and help them on their way. And then they included these minifigs of themselves being held, by the Warden, which I thought was so great. Randall.
Yeah, their first time they used minifigs.
That's right. Randall, what's your take on this build?
I think that this build may have been the most you could kind of get the concept immediately, I would say, like at first glance, and then it bore fruit once you were able to, or more fruit if you were able to go in and look at the details. I like the techniques that they use, especially during this build, because at the beginning, when you're watching the episode, you're thinking, all right, this is a lot of brown. How are they going to incorporate other colors and, make the composition what it eventually became, which I really enjoy. Like the pops of green and the water, like you're seeing here in this night view. And the mushroom is also a nod to another build that they had done previously. So that one was a really good wink at themselves that I enjoyed. And I liked the lighting up of the inside of the Warden too, like seeing all the green translucent bricks lit up from inside. The other thing that I was gonna say from the Wayne and Zach build, it looked like they had new lighting elements that we hadn't seen before.
Well, yeah.
Well, all of this is third party, I believe.
Okay, I was going to say.
You could see strands of LEDs, because that's not what Legos, we know that's not the best thing in the world, but
when I was we've dealt a lot obviously with lights in our work, and I know that I love Lego, but the lighting is not quite up to the level of what we're seeing here. Hopefully they're going to work on that, especially now that they've seen, how this goes. But I will say they're very open to it because one of the things for our piece that we're making for the Lego house for next year, I actually asked them, is it okay if we use third-party lights? And they said, yes, that's fine. Go ahead and do. So we're really, really excited to get to light that. And I'm glad that they're open to, being able to do stuff like that. And you're right, Randall, like what you were talking about is one of the things that that Richard and I always strive for in our builds is that kind of, when you stand back, you get one giant, you get the big picture and it invites you to get in closer and look at those little details. It did have movement, although it was a little hard to see on the show. The branches on the back waved around. And it was just absolutely.
Yeah. And also they put in and motorized the front light elements in the water, and then used a blinking pattern on the thing. And, I saw them do this at a convention. And man, when you have that rippling lighting effect in water, there's something just magical about it.
That's definitely something we're considering for ours, for sure.
Yeah, it's mind-blowingly amazing to see.
So I love the crystal, the lit crystal on the top of the staff, the eyes, just really, really beautiful. And then, so there's a look. Now you can't see it. Obviously, this is a still photo, but when you see it on the show and you see video of it, all of those lights under the water are moving and create, so like Moto was saying, it was magical.
And look at those little bunnies. I mean, there's always more detail to draw you in and explore the world once you've gotten that first awe-inspiring sense of it. And fireflies that are lit up. I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah, it's truly, truly, truly beautiful build. Yeah, there's another nice close-up. Look at that beautiful rock work too. There's lots of ways to do rock work, but I love this particular style. is really nice.
Yeah, and I think one of them took on the base and the other one took on the character. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Oh, man. Awesome.
This, like I said, I loved this build so much. I love Caleb and Jacob so much. And this, I feel, I mean, everybody's did, but this to me encapsulates everything that they've done over the whole season. I mean, and again, like I know everybody's did, but this one to me in particular, like I look at that and I'm like Caleb and Jacob, 100%. Like you can tell. And we did see some very nerve-wracking moments in this episode, right? Like, well, first we had poor Steven tripping over the cord and like pulling possibly pulling some lights out. That was a whole thing. Oh, my heart was in my mouth. Oh my goodness. And then the other one was Caleb and Jacob trying to get that top of that piece on.
Yeah.
They were incredibly, incredibly brave, I feel like. Incredibly brave to try that, right? Like, because when they were about to put it on, they were like, well, if we flip this over and it falls off, it's going to destroy everything. That's a huge risk.
That's so them, though. I mean, the concept alone is taking the over-under concept from Australia and applying it to a finale with lighting, with day to night. I mean, and it's so bonkers. The entire idea is so insane that it only would come from them. I mean, their creativity and conceptual work and the joy they bring to that has always been their strength. And they finished this on the highest possible trajectory. It's just it's just so nuts.
Well, one of the things that I loved about this is where I feel like Mark and Stevens was the most successful with the lighting. I feel like Caleb and Jacobs was the most successful with movement. They had some really fantastic moving elements. In this particular one that we're looking at now, each level of this little thing spun around. So that bottom area and the top area spun around. And of course,
But they're opposing directions, right? One was clockwise, the bottom was
Right,
clockwise, and
exactly.
the top was counterclockwise. I can't remember.
I think the top. I'm just looking at the way the minifigure is pointed on that top level. I think the top level was clockwise.
Oh, you're right. I had it backwards.
But what I love about this, and actually what I'm really just noticing now on this close-up look, is how much that reminds me of the facade of Small World at Disneyland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very, Mary Blair is one of my like huge inspirations. And I don't know if that was purposeful on their part, but it certainly comes through to me on this look at it.
And the way they offset the arches to have everything move in between and not collide. And there's just, dang. That's all I can
look
say.
at those.
I really.
Go ahead, Randall.
Well, I was gonna say I really enjoyed how they. I like the technique that they used to make the hourglass shape.
Yes.
I was really happy to see how they finessed that to make their concept come to life. So I enjoyed that a lot.
Well, this one had the most, just like that fantastic shaping, like just incredible the way that they pulled off the hourglass look. Like it just really looks exactly like what it is when you see it from a distance. And again, like the bigger thing that draws you in to look closer, right? Especially with the movement. This was another piece of movement which I was a big fan of. The bat with the wings that would kind of close over it and then open up again. Just super clever. And the eyes lit up, which was great.
And props on them. The color palette selection here reminds me of the Cyber City build from season 1, where you have this dark background, and how do you bring it to life in a vibrant way? Well, you go after the lavender and the purples and the translucent dark pinks, and just that's the way you make things jump up off of a pattern that would be normally lost with a lot of black.
And that's also very like Disney villain color palette. Like that's Ursula right there, right? Black,
that's Ursula,
that lavender and the pink. That's total Ursula colors.
But once again, it's a bat, but it's a cute bat. It's not like a terrifying take. Everything they do is very joyful and comedic. So I love that too.
Well, I mean, and that works
playful.
From a pop culture sense as well, right? Because those are the colors we are used to seeing villains use, like, lime green, black, dark pink, lavender. Those are all the colors we're so used to, and that brings out that response.
And what have you called it? You've always said that your builds are spooky, not scary, right? So it is. It's that Lego take on it, which is very playful, where it's spooky. It's not terrifying.
Yeah. Here's a little bit more look at the bottom half, which is just so great. I love the trailing vines with the little plants and everything. So beautiful. I think that this was it. It was just so imaginative in a way that is so very them, I think. For sure.
Like I said, they come up with ideas that are completely bonkers, and then they execute it. And man, all of these, I have no clue how everybody did their stuff in only 24 hours.
Well, and speaking of we were talking about that moment where they were putting the top half on. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Nice to be back at this terrifying moment in the episode.
Yes. So, and I'm seeing here now actually how complicated this is. If you're looking, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but that is a gear train right there. That's like 3 or 4 gears on each wing, which that's a lot for sure.
Well, they're relying on clutch power a lot, right?
We also know that wing motion is one of the most difficult motions to achieve if you're going after it. I mean, we saw the struggle with Tyler and his dragon, or the bird, at the end of season 1, and here we have a creature that's got multiple segmented wing opening closing mechanism built right in.
We
just
struggled
fantastic.
with the bat wings moving on our haunted
Ours
amusement
did
park too.
did up and down. But so what I was going to say was one of the things I was most impressed with is not only their braveness in putting that top on, but then when they got the top on, the way that they connected it all together, and watching them do that, I was just like, oh,
You're like,
y'all.
just plates.
That's so good. It was. I think there were some Technic bricks in there. I did see a little bit of Technic bricks, but
They
yeah,
did mostly
plates.
an inverse studded belt. Yeah, they reversed and mirror imaged it and built it. But dang.
Yeah, it's just incredible, just incredible. And then there's their night, the night version, all lit up inside.
I thought the motion in the bottom section was really lovely.
Yeah, we were talking about that, about how we felt that Mark and Stevens was the most successful in the lighting portion. Like their lighting was super, super successful, and that Caleb and Jacob really excelled in the movement category, like where things
I
move.
agree. I think it's really, really imaginative. Sorry if some of this has already been gone over. I think it's very imaginative, and it reminds me of some like Austrian music box.
Yes.
And Randall, you've always impressed me as being able to sculpt brick very, very well, probably better than most of us. What did you think about the roundness of the hourglass at the top and the bottom, and then the shaping going along the outside? Because it does.
It's funny you say that
perfect sphere.
because it's funny you say that because as they were building the hourglass, it reminded me of their cake, the hat that they built for Hats Incredible.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Similar in scale and definitely similar in shape. So they've always been impressive and successful at doing that. I think about the Hanging Brick episode in which they crafted some of the islands, same ones that Mark and Steven did. So
yep.
This was really, I think, kind of what you said, Flynn, earlier, culmination of everything that they have displayed in this moment.
Yep. Well, I got to say, like we were talking earlier about the callbacks in various models. Theirs was by far my favorite callback of the entire season, was their build from last week with their tiny car driving off the cliff. Like it was such a wonderful sense of humor about themselves, which was so, because that could have easily been like a really sore point for them, and they just brought so much joy to that to that thing that happened, because it really was just like, oh man, I can't believe it. And I'm so glad that they embraced that in that callback. So good.
Something else I think is really, really smart from a tactical point of view in Caleb and Jacob's piece is they achieved a huge scale by having a lot of open space.
Yes.
All of those big arches, the open structure of the wood surround for it. They were able to really loft this piece a lot without it all being solid bricks top to bottom.
Yeah.
Also, just going for a monochrome at the bottom. I mean, that's all. I mean, you see so much of a lot of people would start using different colors, but they just went straight white monochrome, and it works out really well.
It's elegant.
Well, yeah. I was going to go back. I was saying earlier before when you're away how much this reminds me of the facade of Small World.
Yeah, totally.
And it's just such a really great piece.
And I'm topped off by America Sings.
Yes, exactly.
I'm really envious of those rubber, steep, pointy pieces in white.
Oh my goodness, I love those. All right, so now we are going to get to who won. So if you have not seen the episode yet and you don't know who won, now would be a good time to either mute, or I will even say, go and come back later. Not that I want you to leave, but I'm saying if you don't want to know, now's the time.
Are we doing 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1? What are we going to take them in?
Well, let's we can go
well, okay, just cards on the table here.
Don't say it yet. Yes, go ahead.
I'm a little bit of a toss-up about 2 and 3. you know, and I'm very confident about one. So
Yeah, so I think that I think that 2 and 3 could have gone either way, but so let's go ahead and start with who came in third, and then we'll go to who won. So coming in third was Caleb and Jacob with their
Hourglass.
Cities in Time Hourglass, and I just thought it was such a beautiful build and so perfectly them. And I'm just so glad to have seen them make it to the finale. I was just thrilled to for them.
I just wish there didn't have to be a second and third, you know, because
Right?
both second and third had so much to recommend them.
Exactly. So that brings us to
I think what got them third, and after contemplation, because I was originally a toss-up between the two, and I got fairly surprised by it, was that when you think about the brief of transition of day into night, their belt had both day and night represented, but when the lights went down, it didn't transition into any different storytelling. And that might have been what got them.
Well,
that misses that point, sure.
So I think it wasn't the execution, it wasn't the imagination, it was none of that stuff that makes it an absolutely gorgeous build or creative build. It was simply that the extra style points went from being able to transition into two different stories, and that both stories were both presented in both day and night already.
Yeah, I really I thought this was it was a beautiful build and so deserving. So that brings us to in second place, Zach and Wayne. With their Pagoda of Life, and it was again a beautiful build, and really like spoke to them and to their heritage and their family and their personal story, which is something that they've brought to the table throughout the season. So it was great to see them sort of like continue that on. And I gotta say that like all three of the final builds really did speak to the teams themselves. Like that was yes, I can see the through line of the whole season, like in these builds, right? Like they brought everything to it. So of course, if you haven't figured it out by now,
and I want to say if they could have pulled off the motion on the dragons, then maybe there would have been a different outcome, possibly. But the fact that all the rest had motion, and they were known for motion, and it didn't come through in the end.
Did they try to do motion?
Hey, Shy Time, how's it going?
Yes, they absolutely attempted to do a complex dragon motion. It just
the dragons were supposed to move, and it just didn't come through in the end, which was a shame. But
so I think that's the little zinger that got them.
But movement wasn't a requirement of the challenge, right?
No,
it was just sort of like icing a little bit.
Yep.
So that means that the winning build was from Mark and Stevens, Warden of the Woods, which we've gone just gushed about. It really did, like I was talking about earlier, this one, while they were all great, this one really embraced the challenge from top to bottom. Everything about it is present in this build. And the lighting part of it really just blew it up over the top. So yeah,
you know, I would love to see this piece in person, but 10 feet tall.
Yeah, you can if you go to Legoland, Florida. You'll be able to, but not 10 feet tall. But yes,
I want to see it huge.
Even bigger. The
molding is so brilliant on it.
5 feet isn't enough. You want it 2 times.
Yeah, so they
or maybe I just want to shrink down to minifig size and see it like that.
So that, I mean, Albert, that's something I was going to point out here at the end is if you look at all three of these builds and you think about that they were done in 24 hours by just a pair of individuals, I think most skilled AFOLs would have a difficult time putting these together in weeks or months, not just 24 hours. This is insane. All three of these are insane.
Yep.
You know, I would have had to think really, really hard and taken a long time to figure out the modeling on that figure. It's really good, and it's not mathematical. It's very asymmetrical.
Well, Moto was saying earlier that they approached the building of this like they did their rock work. So they kind of like incorporated that into this, which I think is really, very smart and really.
Well, also
clever.
consider one of the tactics is to use repeatability, which Wayne and Zach had in their building, right?
Yep.
Multiple
absolutely.
towers. This
they're
thing,
dragons.
where's the repeatability? It's literally like sculpted from the base up, ever changing. I'm like,
I think they must have just been in some kind of like fugue state or something,
right?
To be able to do this.
Well, we've been there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
Like working on con stuff, like just getting into that groove.
they did. They slipped into the pocket and they stayed there, and it all came together, and it's insane.
Yeah, when we were working on some of our bigger builds, I can't tell you how many meals got burned because we just got like into the zone. And then like, oh, that was dinner.
I missed out on the gushing earlier. So as a someone who's into lighting and mechanics, I have to say how incredibly brave it was to bury all the mechanics for those lights in the base way down in the base.
Yeah.
And I have to suppose they don't have really easy access to them, because that had to support the entire upper structure.
Yeah, it truly was a standout among these final three builds for sure, and I can see why. I can definitely see the decision making here. Just absolutely stunning.
It's one of my favorite builds in both seasons.
Yes. Absolutely. And I was saying earlier, like it speaks so much to our love of fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons and just all of like everything, right? Like it's all Lord of the Rings, Guardians of the Galaxy. There's just little bits of all of those things in here,
Yeah, I even think one of the Swedish contestants put a remark down and said, I think this is one of the best across the world, like across all of the Lego Masters out there.
Yeah, it has this
it's nuts
mythological sweep to it. It just, I think it transcends languages.
Yeah, it's
ages.
Thank goodness it's not going to be torn apart.
Yeah, exactly.
God, that would be hard. If they said we are tearing this one down, I would have just lost my cool for a minute.
Yeah, so they're gonna. So this is actually gonna be on display in Legoland, Florida. So if you ever want to see it live, you can head down there and check it out, because I would personally love to see this in person. I hope
all three are there like season one, but they only committed to the winner this time, at least what was on air. So
right. Yeah. Well, I have a feeling we'll see those other ones other places.
Gosh, I hope so. I hope so.
I do too.
All three are incredible.
Yeah, I do too. Like maybe at the Lego store in New York, or like the big flagship store. Maybe we'll see an appearance there, something like that.
Axel Plate, you make a really good point. I think the mushroom is a nice touch. And what it seemed like to me in the episode is they were done a little bit early, and they were like, well, we better keep going. And then you see, I don't remember which of the two of them placed it on the model, and then just this smile comes over his brother's face.
Yeah,
like you were able to do that at the last minute.
Yep. And then he tripped over the cord.
Oh no, he felt so bad.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in that
for real. Sorry.
Well, we've both been in that situation at one point or another, right? Like where something's happening and something gets knocked over, or something happens, just like, what's happening?
They hit me with a joke grenade. So the months ago in Texas at Brick Rodeo, they were installing the similar lighting pattern in their Sea Serpent Reimagined. And one of them is like, watch the cord, don't hit the cord with your clumsy big feet. And they have a bit of, he gave this look like, and I was like, what's that all about anyway? And I watched this episode, I'm like, I got it. I finally got the joke. Nice. It took a while to catch up. But yeah, that's really clever, really funny, guys.
We've even said to one another during, whether it's unpacking a piece at the convention or, just coming to the end of a really big piece, if one of us breaks something, we're not going to freak out. We're just going to keep moving. We're not going to get upset with the other one. We're just going to, it's okay. Sometimes it happens.
Yep. Good point. Last night on Boonstream, Mark observed that this is the second time a mythological creature beat an architectural build. And season one Australia had a mythological winner on that one as well. So if you're going to be honest, you're going to be on Lego Masters, think mythological.
I know.
Or characters, just more general. Large scale characters.
Sorry.
I was just gonna say, large scale characters tend to,
Yes.
if you can execute, well, the trick is executing them well. Right?
So just to kind of to finish up here, to wrap things up, because we certainly can't speak to this, but as season 2 contestants, I would just love to hear your kind of final thoughts on the season as a whole and your experience. I mean, I know that's a lot. I don't expect you to expound forever on it, but just if you have I would love to just hear your takes on your feelings on the whole thing. Let's start with Randall.
Man, my take and experience in the show and all of that. Seemed to be a very technically centric season this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it really, along with the storytelling and all of that you always have to bring, that seemed to be something that was in the forefront in most challenges. So that's my takeaway, my experience on the show. Like, I'll say this: I hope people enjoyed this season just as much as the first season.
I'm sure they did. It was easier for me to enjoy this one than than the first one, because God, I hate seeing myself on camera. But yeah, so Moto, what are your thoughts?
It was an honor and a joy to serve the community by making it onto the show and being in the cast and being able to build for an audience. And that's what I was always that was my intent and purpose while there. So, when it was time to go, it was time to go. And I didn't freak out about it or feel too bad. I was just like, the time's up, and that's just part of the game. That's the nature of the journey. But from the very beginning, it was just, to try to do my best, but also make amazing friends and family, and to celebrate the continuation of everybody else who kept running right up to the end. Yeah. Because I got to admit that, everything I saw at this end journey, I'm like, I don't know if I made it to the end. I don't think I could have kept up with this. This is incredible. I believe that, the highly skilled and executed teams, put through the battering, put through all the different trials and tribulations to even make it there was pretty stunning. And then to celebrate it with these 3 amazing belts is just a great way to wind the season up.
Well, I think too, it's something that I said on our very first day of filming to our cast, and it, seeing what y'all went through and did on this season, especially with like the COVID protocols and all that stuff, is that I said to our cast, I was like, y'all realize right now that we are the only 20 people in the world who will ever have this experience. Like, we, whatever other seasons may come, like, it will not be that, this experience will not be repeated. And the same thing for y'all. Like, you are the only 24 people who will ever have that experience in the world. And what a cool, awesome feeling that is, right? To have that kind of like singular experience. It's so fascinating. And we are so happy to invite more members to the family. It's just been so great.
I always come up with these things at the... Sorry,
Randall, what was that?
No, I said 100%, and I hope. Well, what I was gonna say was I hope season 3 doesn't have to go through what we did.
Yeah, here's to that.
Yeah, I hope they get like the best of both. I hope that they get really, really nice backstage places to hang out, and also be able to go out in public when they're not filming.
Hard ice.
Hard ice will always be a thing.
So, of course, I will always be a thing. But yeah, I would say that, I do think everything that came through was very, very well done. Congratulations to everybody, the entire season 2 cast, for what they did.
Yeah,
I do realize that our season did suffer from the lack of guest appearances, from the lack of having an audience there at the finale with family members in person.
Yeah.
and people cheering them on, all of the protocols we had to endure. And, I'm sure that COVID also affected maybe the way some of the challenges would have been laid out and executed as well. There was no theme challenge this year, and that's probably because they want to save that for, a major guest appearance and blowing the lid off the stage. So I think, we got an amazing production and an amazing run of it. But I do think, it was one of those tough years. And I think by season 3, we would hopefully not have that, and everything will be mostly back to normal.
Well,
And
Tim,
get a good mix in there.
you make a really good point about that, but I got to say, watching the series, it didn't feel less than for not having the celebrity appearances.
Same.
I was very excited to see people building Lego.
Yep. And I hope
I can't tell. I'm too close to it, right? I mean, that's the problem.
Sure. I mean, personally, I feel like, I know you say suffered from the lack. I actually think it put more of a focus on the builders and less of a focus on, who's going to be the special guest this week? Like, who's going to be the person? And to be perfectly honest, like, I thought all of our guests were delightful and I loved having them on, but it was a distraction to a certain degree, right? Like, I'm sitting there building thinking like, Maya Bialik is standing right over there and I'm like here, and then she's going to come and talk to me. And then we're going to have an awkward hug at the brick pit. And it was like it was a whole thing, but yeah, I think that y'all did amazing, and I'm so proud of all of you for having made it on the show and been able to have that experience. And I'm so thrilled that we now have that shared experience.
And I'm sorry, I confused Joel when I said, he said, is there a season 3? No, we don't know. It's not confirmed. I'm just an optimist at heart.
Yeah. So
I'm speaking as if it's going to happen, because until someone tells me it isn't, it's going to be in my mind. That's the way I work.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go in a minute here with work commitments, but I'm very curious, as a fan of both of you, I'm very curious, did being on Lego Masters change how you build as a Lego builder after the show?
Moto, you want to take that first?
Yeah, because I got asked this already a couple times. Yes, not technically, not technical skillcraft wise. No, I didn't take much away from the show. But what I have realized is I build a lot faster and a lot more efficiently, simply because it's about producing the overall shape and look of the build, and then going in and only worrying about spot points of focus and perfection in detail. I don't have to work everything over 19,000 ways to perfection from nose to tail.
Right.
I can get the overall sketch model to look like it should, and then focus on detailed points of interest for the eye to travel across.
Focus sounds like the clear improvement there. It seems like it would give your pieces more focus.
Yeah, I will tease and say, if you join this Sunday, you're going to see the first major model I've ever finished since leaving Lego Masters.
Oh,
and so hopefully you're going to see what I'm talking about in that model.
Cool.
All right, Randall, what do you think?
I think did it change how I build? I would say it form how I might build at that scale, which you may or may not see sometime soon.
Oh boy!
I think. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You big tease.
I know. Now we have a cliffhanger.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I hope you do. If that is in the cards in the future, I can't wait to see you scale up to a Lego Masters, because I know that most of your stuff is medium or moderate scale.
Well, it's been
and I would say what I was going to say was I would say that it definitely challenged the storytelling quotient of anything that I might build being on the show, which always seems like, the most prominent thing that they're always looking for. And, being somebody that goes to see Lego things, like, I know that that's important to me. So it just made it resonate a lot more. But definitely, like, technique wise, I learned a couple things, things that read well at certain scales that I'll challenge myself to do in the future.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on a Friday morning. Thank you, Moto. Thank you, Randall from Cancun. It's amazing. Fantastic that you were able to come in and join us today. Don't forget, this Sunday is Talk Like a Pirate Day, and your pirate builds are due. Now, I know we said your pirate builds were due tonight, but I'm giving everybody extra time. So
you're gonna get it time now because you always stay late.
That's a
so if you want to,
that's a twist I like.
Yeah, a twist you like is you have some extra time. You can turn your builds in all the way up to tomorrow at 6 p.m. So until tomorrow at 6 p.m., you can go. There's an article up on our website with a link to where you can turn in your pictures of the Google form. So please make sure and turn those in. Yano River Blue will be here for the We Are Family themed builds for Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun, looking at a lot of awesome builds. I can't wait to see what you all have made. Really looking forward to see what Moto's made, because he's been very, very excited about it. And I know when Moto gets very, very excited about something, it is a reason to pay attention. Just saying. So
can you guys always say, I gotta say, that's your quote.
It is.
I gotta say something before we go, or I must proclaim something before we go.
Yes.
Proclaim, sir.
Thank you guys so much for having these reviews of the episodes and for bringing our castmates in to talk about them. It means a lot that your outreach and your larger community is able to celebrate our season with us, because it's the viewers that matter, but also you guys have been there before, and the entire Tricky Love community that makes part of our production, the long hours, worth it, that we're able to celebrate it. So thank you guys for having us back and for what you've done and being able to do these reviews consistently, across the board for the entire season, because I know it's a lot of work to prep and put together.
Well, awesome.
Thank you,
Thank you.
It's wonderful. And a thing to remember too is, like, we come up here and we talk on camera, but I am a fan of Lego, and I'm a fan of Lego Masters, and how fun and exciting to get to know more of your experience on that show, because, there's so much stuff that you don't see. And I want to know about it.
Well, and two, it's not like it ends here. Right?
No.
Like, this show has a life beyond. It's on Hulu. There will be a lot of people who maybe didn't discover it while it was actually on, who will be discovering it afterwards. And we will be having more Lego Masters 2 people on the show. And, I've been saying this all along, but just to kind of reiterate, we didn't have quite as many people as we would have, because we really wanted to focus on the after the show is over, that like
when you can talk about anything,
can talk about anything, and also to keep the spirit alive past just the production and the live viewings of the shows. So really excited to have more people on and like that. And yes, and like Waxblatt says, wait till the show premieres in another country. It's like it happens all over again for you. It's crazy. It's like a whole thing. So
especially for Lauren, because she travels to the UK all the time, so that's gonna be pretty wild for her. All
right, well, thank you again. Looking forward to seeing you all on Sunday. I know, Randall, you won't be with us this Sunday because you'll be partying it up in Cancun. Can't wait to see the photos. And you need a fan, Moto. You need like a little fan to blow on you.
I didn't get to that challenge. I probably would have taken out the hair braid and they would have lost their junk. Been all Fabio'd out in the studio. Yeah.
We're just hoping
60 mile an hour Fabio look.
In the build.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thank you both. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Really, really appreciate you all coming and hanging out with us.
And if you're a lurker, thanks for coming and lurking too.
And we will see you on Sunday. And until we see you on Sunday, don't forget to stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, wear your mask, and get that vaccine as soon as you possibly can. And we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Happy building.